Hello guys! As almost always, a lot of things have been going on here over the course of the last days. The most important of which is probably that I bought myself a second car. And I'm still driving the old Opel Corsa, but I hope to make the transition to make this my only car in a couple of months or weeks if I have any luck with it. Now this is a Volvo 740 GL built in 1990 and it already has 346,000 kilometers on the clock. That's about 220,000 miles. But these cars are known to make a lot of mileage and I hope that this one will do me a good service. I bought this car for about 500 euros just a couple of villages away, and I brought this here with a friend of mine who happens to own a local garage, and he has the right to move a car like this on Germany's roads. Before I will be able to drive this car, it has to be registered, and for that I have to pass a general inspection. And there are a couple of things that have to be repaired, and that is why I'm making this video. I wanted to make an outreach here and see if any of the car guys in the audience, especially maybe the Volvo fans, can help me out with some advice on the problems that I'm facing here. We drove the car to this place from about 25 kilometers away, so it can run on its own power, the engine runs, the transmission is okay, the clutch works, but is maybe a little used off. And we were only able to move this car on Germany's roads legally because my buddy is a car dealer and has dealer's license plates. If it wasn't for those, I would have had to use a hauling trailer to move this car from A to B because it hasn't passed a general inspection in over 24 months. And one of the first things I did was to wash the car all over the place, and that really helped me in taking a closer look at all the different spots on the car where potential faults and defects can be found. And I actually made a list of a lot of very non-essential problems, like a broken plastic piece here and there, but there are some more important things that definitely have to be checked and fixed before this car can pass the general inspection. First of all, there is a problem with the turn signals, aka direction indicators. You turn the key, and even if you do not activate the turn signals, a relay starts clicking. You hear the relay, but you do not see any light coming from the turn signals. If you hit the hazard flasher button though, you can see that the hazard flashers are working just fine. But if you actually activate the turn signals, for example turn right, all the three bulbs on the right side are flashing up. The same thing is true for the left side of the car. But you can see that they are flashing much too rapidly. And also here in the back of the car you can find two flasher relays, and at least one of them is giving off this buzzing sound, as if switched on and off very rapidly. And I have checked all the light bulbs, they are well connected and are not burned through. And here's a look inside one of those flasher units. We have 4 relays plus additional circuitry, protection diodes and little transistors that are no doubt used to activate the relays. But I don't think that the fault is within these relay modules here. I'm pretty sure though that I have to check maybe the relays and some of the peripheral electronics in the front of the car, and for that I first have to remove this cheap radio that the former owner has simply whacked in here. You can see that he probably cut off the original connector of the radio and attached the radio with some clamps to the wiring of the car. Down here we can find the fuses, and after removing that I simply have to take out one screw to pull off this plastic cover here, and there are the relays. And by the way, in here you can find some audio cables, and those were, I'm sure, connected to a CD changer that once was installed in the back of the car next to those flasher relays we just saw. And of course we find thick loudspeaker cables that are not part of the original equipment of this car. And this black module here reading SAE J590 would be the car's turn signal flasher. And the next thing that I would do now is to take it out, maybe take it apart, see if it still works and maybe order a new one. But before I do that, I thought I'd ask you guys. Maybe there is someone among you who has had similar problems in the past with their turn lights, or maybe someone has a lot of knowledge about this particular car. So please leave a comment about that in the comment section if you know anything about this issue. But unfortunately, that is not all. This annoying sound that you can well hear from inside the car comes from, I'm pretty sure, the fuel pump of the car. And what I would do now is to replace the old fuel pump and also the fuel filter, maybe some of those hoses too. But again, before I do that, I wanted to ask you guys, maybe there is someone who has had practical experiences with this kind of issue. Please leave a comment below. And the car also had some issues firing up sometimes, so I took a look at the spark plugs, and I would say that this is a mild case of carbon fouling. So I simply cleaned off the spark plugs, and at least that problem seems to be out of the way for now. Okay, so I bought this car kind of spontaneously, and I also was under a lot of pressure because, believe it or not, a lot of guys wanted to buy this old car. And I really feel that an old Volvo is the right thing for me. A lot of storage space, the possibility to pull a large trailer, galvanized body, possibly a lot of mileage, and so on. The whole self-repair philosophy of this car is what I like. But maybe this particular car will turn out to be a money pit or a waste of my time, but then I'm quite sure that I might just as well buy yet another old Volvo and try it with that one as well. So please just give me your best advice and opinion on what you have seen in the video, on the sounds you have heard, and also if you have technical documentation or if you have parts or want to sell parts and so on. Please contact me under inventordonations@gmail.com. So just give me your best advice, and I hope you liked this little video.